In this era of globalization, trade tensions between the two biggest economies in the world could have damaging effects on the global economy. Many analysts are under the impression that a successful US-China trade deal would boost copper prices. According to the Reuters report, copper prices fell to their lowest in August because of the escalating trade dispute between the United States and China. This is why the Zambian government has come up with strong policies to put the country on a path of diversification of the economy. Experts say Zambia needs to move away from being an economy that heavily depends on copper and look for other means of growing her economy. This was President Edgar Lungu attending an event focused on industrialization in Africa in 2015 in New York.
The jobless growth is also in part the result of the economic growth being mostly propelled by exports of raw commodity products rather than value-added products. In addition, the export of raw materials renders countries vulnerable to external shocks and commodity price fluctuations. Zambia depends on copper, and the price of copper currently is at the lowest.
It is 2019, and the policies of government seem to strongly favor the idea of diversifying the economy. But is there progress, and what needs to be done to accelerate the diversification agenda?
Copper production has fallen, okay, and obviously we're not selling as much copper as we were selling, and of course there's a challenge of power. So all these things really have worked, and they've really affected our economy. But we've been quite resilient in that we have not had any serious shocks in the economy. Yes, the foreign currency, our exchange rate did take a hit, but it was managed to extent. So there's more stability right now. I think the key thing that, as the private sector, we want stability. Okay, so that when there's stability, it's possible for us now to plan forward. Okay, plan ahead, and to manage these same risks.
I think the movement is minimal. The movement is minimal. Even the issue of diversification, this is where I'm saying our focus should have been on areas where we have comparative advantage. It's very, very difficult for Zambia to diversify through industrialization because, first of all, even our cost of production is so high. So when you produce something for the international market, it's already at a disadvantage because you are producing at higher cost than a country, say like South Africa.
Let us meet the past president for Kitwe and District Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Alan Nirenda.
When the copper price fails or fall, that's where the issue of diversification comes up. When the copper price is high, no one wants to talk about diversification because everyone is happy about what is happening in the country. If you look at diversification, what have we done? We know that mining is a good base for us, and mining has always been the number one economy in our country. And unfortunately, if you look at the copper belt, we haven't done very well in terms of diversifying either away from the mining side or value addition. In fact, the world economy is always affected when the big guys are fighting. But however, we need to actually see to it that we develop our own base, whereby even if those guys are arguing on their trade issues, that we can have somewhere where we can actually, put our foot and not affected as much.
Let us now find out what the Kitwe residents think about diversification of Zambia's economy.
We haven't made much progress on diversification. Zambia has been dependent on copper for a long time, so we lacked foresight. It was going to be good if we had diversified from copper to maybe crop production, tourism, and the other economic activities. So we spent much of the time depending on copper.
Diversification of the economy is something that will make us profitable as a country, because currently we are depending on copper. As you have said, copper is controlled by other countries. The prices at the London Stock Exchange is controlled by other countries. So it's difficult to rely on something that is being controlled by other people.
The country is indeed making progress in terms of diversifying its economy, even though it is not at a pace some people would want it to be. But Rome was not built in a day. Teverai Zeka for Roving Report in Kitwe.